the first season of the Sunday SITREP. It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 4th episode of the Sunday SITREP, the Armed Forces Fishing League's official podcast. Sitting here with Nick Udenbach today, and we're going to talk about AFFL Louisiana. Yes, sir. So we're going to break down Zack Myott. I'm going to get to know him a little bit. He's our director over there. And then we're going to get a good SITREP on what's going on down there in Louisiana, talk a little bit about their future plans and what they've got going on right now. And some stuff coming up here shortly in the future. But Nick, let's talk about a couple results, some of our upcoming events, and then we're going to talk a little bit about your derb this weekend on the St. Lawrence River, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good deal. So before we get started, everybody, Josh Morgan's already got it ready to rock. Make sure y'all go ahead and put in hashtag the SITREP, like, share, to get into the giveaway there. I'll go ahead and throw the banners up. So make sure y'all are doing it just like that right there so that you get in that giveaway. Doing the same thing as normal. We're going to do one of these hats right here, 2 barbecue sauces and a neck gaiter today. Cool. So upcoming events. We just had results from South Carolina. It was hot yesterday down here for the South Carolina event. I can tell you it was definitely hot, but some guys were able to figure it out. There was a little bit of a top water bite from what I heard, and then that only lasted the first 5 minutes for most guys, and did not happen for me at all. I seen nothing but gar on top.
Yeah.
But our first place team, Ronnie Mueller and Wayne Frierson, was 17.70 pounds, and they took home the big fish with a 4.36, taking home $915. That's pretty nuts, man. We had 17 boats, $80 entry fee, and they're taking home $915.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty. Yeah, I think that's pretty dang incredible. How good that is. I see, man, I just clicked to the comments. We've got a lot of folks on here shooting the SITREPs.
Good deal.
But yeah, we had a couple of teams, we had 1426 following up, 12 right after that in third. Mr. Nathan Tyson and Bailey Steele, one of my regulars, and then one of my team of the year boat captain, Jeremiah Jensen, come in fourth with 1183. So congrats to all them guys yesterday. It was definitely tough, and I know they worked hard for those fish. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And then some upcoming events. Nick, I'll let you take the handle on the first one. The next upcoming event for y'all is July 27th on, I'm going to let you say it. I feel like I say it wrong every time. Ossipee.
Ossipee. Yeah, that's perfect.
Ossipee Lake.
I thought that was next weekend, man.
That is.
It's
not this coming. No, it's the next. Those are
Yeah.
just the next events we got coming up is July 27th.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool lake. It'll be busy with pleasure boaters, but I mean that's expected up here.
Right.
We get flooded with people from Massachusetts and stuff that just basically take over the lakes in the summertime.
I hear you.
There's pretty big fish in there. There should be someone's gonna pull out a big bag.
For sure. Somebody always figures them out. No matter how tough a day it is, somebody always figures it out. And then the only other one we got coming up, maybe we're going to talk with Louisiana today a little bit about their open schedule and what they got going on there. But the only other for sure scheduled event we have coming up, same weekend, July 27th here in South Carolina, we've got an open scheduled for Lake Wateree out of Clearwater Cove. Same thing, probably going to be pretty busy with pleasure boaters, but with the heat here, we're running till only 1. Probably going to move that one up even a little further just with the heat the way it's been. We might weigh in at 11 or noon just in case. Don't want to fish kill. I know we definitely had some people complaining this morning on Facebook about us having tournaments this time of year, but it is what it is. We'll move past it.
It's I get why they're upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like I get the reason for cause. Like, yes, it's hot, right? Yes, the water's hot. It's 88 degrees, and I understand delayed mortality. I'm a nerd about this stuff. I pay close attention. Our guys are icing their fish. I mean, they're taking very good care of them with the G juice and everything. Not a single one of the bags dumped in my tank yesterday wasn't cold and G juiced.
Yeah.
And the water temp's only 88. It might be hot outside, but water temp's 88. That's getting up there. That's still safe. That's still safe for the fish. As long as you're taking care of them in the live well all day and making sure they're releasing fine, you're good to go. All of them were
That's the
happy and
thing,
healthy.
man.
Right.
Anglers can do a lot to help prevent any mortality with the fish.
Right.
You know, G juice, fizz them if you're catching them deep.
Right.
Put ice in the live wells. There's stuff that we can do to help that out. You know, it's important
100%.
that we do it too.
Exactly. And you know, it's gonna happen in every tournament. There's gonna be fish that die. It's part of it. Doesn't matter in July or in March. We had a club tournament here. We had like 12 out of 13 boats. We had like 12 fish dead. It was insane. That was back in March when it was cold outside.
Look at this. Ready? Look at that. Look what Josh Morgan. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's hot. I don't even know if you can catch a bass in that temperature water. Man, they must be deep out there then. But all right, well, enough of that. I mean, Nick, tell us about your derb yesterday on the St. Lawrence River.
Well, that is my favorite fishery in the country, by far. It's I mean, I went out to Lake Ontario. The weather cooperated enough to make the run.
Mm-hmm.
Practice was great. I caught a ton of 4s and just about 5s, and there was plenty that I marked. I'm not kidding. I pull up to one spot and I've never seen anything like it. I saw fish break in the water, and I was like, there's no way that's smallmouth bass. No way.
Right.
And so I cast it out towards it and caught one and verified that it was a smallmouth. So I started scanning around, and there was probably 100 to 150 of them there.
Wow.
Of size, 4+ pounds. And I could see 5s and 6s just cruising the shallows. I was like, cool, I'm going to leave it alone. Tomorrow's the Derby. I'll come back here. If they're not here, they won't be far. And they weren't anywhere to be found. I had just under 13 pounds. It was like 12.8 something. I just threw it back. I mean, that's not even worth weighing in up there. And we had a handful of pros jump in. I saw Tim Doobie from New Hampshire up there. Cooper Gallant actually won it with 5 smallmouth for 26.97.
Insane.
Almost a 27-pound sack.
Insane, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. And like you were telling me earlier offline, like the spawn's over. Those are post-spawn.
Post-spawn right now.
Right. Post-spawn fish, 27 pounds. I mean, that's a dirty 30 a month ago for them. For those exact fish, yeah.
It's wild. I mean, this place is phenomenal. I hope you and some of the people that are watching right now can get up there if they haven't been. It's incredible.
Definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not saying you'll go out there and crack 6-pounders all day, but just the experience, like a 3-pound smallmouth on the St. Lawrence is a small fish.
Right. And they're mean. And they're mean
fight.
and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mean and fun.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of St. Lawrence and up there in New York, let's bring in our Louisiana director, which is by way of New York originally, Mr. Zack Myott. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Doing pretty good. Let's chat it up about New York for a second, since that's where you're from.
So, upstate New York, I will believe is probably one of the best places in the world. I grew up fishing on the Champlain, lived in the Hudson River Valley, so plenty of places to fish down there. But the climate, I don't want to put my boat up every year,
Yeah.
I miss fishing smallmouth for sure. Fishing smallmouth is fun, but catching 5-pound largemouth is a lot of fun as well. So,
Yeah. The New York is honestly, I think it has some of the best fishing in the country, hands down. Just the caliber of bass you can get, this in the top-notch lakes. You have Cayuga, Oneida, Champlain, the St. Lawrence. Like, there's just so many great lakes. And some of the smaller places, I actually passed one that was talking to Zach about. It's a little reservoir, and he said it's phenomenal. Like little honey holes like that.
The Tom Hannock, that's where I caught my biggest bass ever. When I was on my 5th birthday, my dad brought me fishing there.
I actually saw it on my ride home today. I was looking out there, and 2 huge bass broke water.
Goodness.
I don't remember the weight, right? I was 5. I remember my dad like measured it or something, and because he's not a bit, he grew up. I was like, he's an everything fisherman, right? So he measured it. It was like a 25, 26-inch bass, but at 5, that's the moment that I have in my mind where I remember falling in love with fishing. Is 5 years old, my dad bringing me out to go fishing on the Tom Hannock Reservoir.
Yeah. Still your biggest fish to date.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's not, right? I landed a 7 inside of a tournament, but like, it's the one that I remember getting the most excited about catching a big fish, you know?
Right.
So Mike Sheehan, that was caught on Cayuga. I just saw that when we were up there. It's like 12.3 something.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't know the largemouth got that big up there. I thought
they get
plus
huge.
was in the South only kind of deal.
No, they get huge, man. Like, for sure.
That's crazy.
You got to figure like Champlain is like almost like a little ocean, you know?
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, those are big lakes. Like, you don't think about it, but I don't, at least being from the South. Like, I don't think about how big they are, but they really are ginormous.
Oh, that's big water. Yeah.
Right.
When you get wind up there, yeah.
Well, then you got the Hudson River that GE just pumped all sorts of chemicals in for years. So, you know, them fish are huge.
Yeah. Getting a little boost.
Yeah.
Boosting them up. Right. I hear you. Oh, man.
So what, with you fishing, you know, growing up fishing in New York, and then you moved to Georgia, is that right?
Yeah, man. So I spent a majority of my adult life in Georgia. So I joined the Army at 20, and so I went from like 20 to 25. I lived in Georgia. I moved to Alaska for 3 years, and then I came back and I lived in Georgia for an additional 5 years. So I essentially just had to relearn how to fish. Like, I remember one of my best friends, actually, Ben Bodley. He's from out in Utah, in Ogden, Utah, and he's the best dude, like the best fisherman I've ever been on a boat with. And I just remember getting so frustrated going out with him and just getting skunked every day. And I just had to like relearn how to fish, because I would go out with a spinning reel and like a tube jig and try to catch something. Like, it's not like, that's not working, right? Or jointed Rapala, and that's not working. So I basically had to relearn everything. Now, granted, like, I still do a lot of things differently than these guys. Like, I fish my crankbaits a little bit differently. I fish my shaky heads a little bit differently, and I fish my Texas rigs a little differently. But I like kind of have a blend of northern and southern fishing now that seems to help me out a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of versatility.
Yeah. Some of that northern stuff, I mean, it must work sometimes down there. It's completely different than what they're used to seeing, right?
It does. Like, I mean, I don't want to let them all know like how I fish my crankbaits differently than them, but I will say the way that I fish my my square bill or my square body crankbaits is what I learned how to do up banging it off riprap on the Hudson River, and that's how I catch fish down here.
Yeah.
Some of the color selection that I use and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I actually did that when I went down to Hartwell with Austin.
Oh, yeah.
I was throwing a bright, I'm going to give away a little thing here, a bright yellow blackback square bill. And I was killing them on it. But to me, that water was stained because I could only see, 2-3 feet down.
I'm sitting here coming from Santee Cooper. I'm like, dude, why are you throwing a chartreuse crankbait? This water's crystal clear. And he's like, no, dude, this is stained. Now I'm like, I don't know what it is for here, but to me, this is clear. So it was crazy. There was another secret bait he pulled out that blew my mind too. I won't give that one away. And it's worked for me ever since, no matter what the water looks like. So
with with me, the best way I can put it, if you look at how I mean, obviously I'm not as good as Mike Iaconelli, but if you look at some of the techniques that Mike Iaconelli uses, that's very similar to how I fish in a lot of ways.
I
Yeah.
got you. Tracking.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more like power fishermen maybe up north. I could be wrong, but like the whole jerk bait, crankbait stuff. I mean, northern anglers seem to excel in that area.
I think you see a lot of the southern guys down here that you get a lot of guys like when you're talking power fishermen, it's a buzz around here where I'm at. It's a buzz bait and a spinner bait, and they've just got 4 of each on their deck, just running, just moving.
Well, the big thing I learned the difference of is like when they say like they're throwing a crankbait, they aren't as dedicated as they are as I am with it. Like if I'm picking a crankbait up, I am confident that I'm going to catch 5 fish and I will not put it down. Now that's come back to bite me a time or two, but it's just it's different styles. It's weird.
Right. Yeah, I don't think the finesse deal gets done down here. I think like on lakes like Lake Murray and Lake Hartwell, you're starting to see it a lot more with the spotted bass and then the herring chasing fish. But like on Santee, I don't think there's a lot of guys out there shaking minnows. You know what I mean? I don't know about I don't know how common that is up there now between the not professionals. But that's y'all's deal. I know me and Nick, we were talking earlier about like Great Lakes Finesse and all those companies that focus on finesse. I don't think I can tell you in my club right now, there's probably 0 guys with Great Lakes Finesse baits in their boat, except me. I do have a couple, but
Yeah.
But maybe one. I think there might be one guy that I know of.
Yeah.
But for the most part, no, I don't think so. These dudes are big heavyweights, big spinner baits, crankbaits. I mean, when they throw in a crankbait down here, though, like I know y'all are like in a smaller little, like you're saying, like the Rapala Brookbacks. I know a couple old timers that throw that stuff, but it's a lot of, square bill, stuff like that. Like the riprap deal is pretty common here as well, but it depends on what lake you're on.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I noticed the spots down south, they relate, like I could relate to smallmouth with them a lot, just like where you find them and
For sure.
how they act and everything. Yeah, their behavior.
Kind of grouped up, curious. They're going to chase things. Yeah, for sure.
That's why I feel like I catch a lot of spotted bass a lot of times. Because they're like catching smallmouth. They don't ever confuse me. It's just like I can go get a limit of 12-inch spots, I guess.
Yeah, I can tell you they confused the crap out of me on Hartwell this year. Just 2 to 4 pounders every point. Throw something out there and then bringing it back, and they'd just be a wolf pack of them chasing it, and won't eat it. I mean, it was crazy. And I talked to a lot of guys saying the same thing. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
They confused me that time, but we whacked them pretty good, Nick. Last year, the year before, they weren't being as picky. We just couldn't get the quality. It died on us.
Yeah, we caught a lot for sure.
Yeah,
but the
quality left us. We had it, and then
we figured it out too late. Is what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. That's been the story of my my last couple of seasons.
Right. So Zach, let's talk a little bit about your military background. So I know you're an active duty first sergeant right now at Fort Polk, right?
Yeah, only for 3 more weeks, but
3 more weeks.
Who's counting, right?
I bet you're ready for that to be done.
Man, I'll tell you, it's been the most frustrating and rewarding job I've ever had in my life. But I don't want, I've been in the Army for 14 years. I actually saw Phil Punt. Me and him were actually, his unit was my first unit ever. I was in 3rd Brigade, 3rd ID in Fort Benning, or Fort Moore, I think it's called now. I've been an infantryman. I got a couple deployments to CENTCOM or the Middle East. I was in the Army's new unit called Security Forces Assistance Brigade, which is essentially we were established so special forces can go do special forces things and train foreign foreign Army Special Forces, and we trained their regular Army. I got to go to Honduras for that. I went to Bogota, Colombia. I did advise the ANA, the Afghan National Army. We advised some of the Guatemalan Army. It was a pretty cool experience. And then I came here to Fort Johnson, Louisiana, where I'm 3rd Brigade, 10th Mountain, and we're going to Europe. So.
Sounds fun.
Fort Johnson is the formerly Fort Polk, right?
Yeah, Fort Polk. I know. I actually see people saying I understand the whole thing with like the old names, but while I work there, if I say Fort Polk, nobody will recognize what I say. So you kind of just get used to saying Fort Johnson and stuff like that. So,
right.
But there's still a lot of confusion through there. And I also say, if you ain't infantry, yeah, I know what you're saying, man. That there is only one job, and everybody else is support. So.
I hear that.
Yeah. Other than that, that's really about it, man. I don't really. My wife. I'm kind of humble a little bit when it comes to my military career, because the guys that I came into the Army with, they were the ones who invaded Iraq and Afghanistan, and they were the ones who did everything. So I always compare myself to them. I didn't do as much as them, but I've cut my teeth. So it's kind of the way I look at it.
Right. I like Mr. Brock Daigel's opinion. Spelled Johnson, pronounced Polk.
That's old Brock. He's from down south in Louisiana.
Right.
He helps me out down there quite a bit. So.
Yeah, we've spoken with him on a few occasions. He's awesome, and definitely. It seems like he's more passionate, just as passionate, if not more passionate, about all this than we all are.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's. I always tell Nick, I say, if we're comparing people, he's probably the best person out of all of us. So.
I hear you.
So your first sergeant time's up, and then what are you moving on to after that?
I'm going to go be an OCT, so I'm going to go watch units that go through JRTC, their big culminating brigade event, and tell them what they did right and did wrong, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to official on. So that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Not going to get the phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It can be frustrating. I know. I don't know what I relate to as a first sergeant, but we've talked offline. It's very similar to what I'm in now too. It is people, leading people. I'd love to go back to my senior airman days, just beating on airplanes with a hammer all day. Oh man, I'd give $100 to do that right now. Probably. If I could keep my paycheck, if I could keep the E6 paycheck, I would love that.
Yeah, I don't want to get paid like they do, but also I don't want to deal with their problems either,
That's fair. That's fair. 100%. So what about tournament experience? So when did you start tournament bass fishing?
So I actually started pretty late. So I fished So I grew up and my dad was kind of like an everything fisherman. Like he couldn't grab a rod without me running to the car trying to get in there. And, we had a camp on Champlain with my grandparents, and we used to go out there all the time. But I always loved bass fishing, but I would say probably my deployment in 2018 is what made me dive all the way into it. Right. That was. I don't want to get too far into it, but basically what happened was we took a KIA, and I just remember standing there looking at everybody thinking what am I doing? And then for some reason I was I decided that I would try to pursue my dream of tournament fishing and see if maybe I can make something out of it instead of just saying I wish I could have.
Right.
Yeah, the only way you're guaranteed to fail something is if you don't try it. So.
Yeah, and exactly. I kind of dove all the way in, I bought my first bass boat, and my wife wishes I didn't. From there, everything is history.
Right. You what kind of levels have you fished at? You just fished mostly club level. You had BFLs at all, or?
So I fished quite a few BFLs. I fished, like down in Georgia, they have a couple big ones that happen, and like you follow Alabama with a couple 100-boat tournaments. I fished a lot of those. Did a lot of club levels. I fish the club levels. I've tried to get away from the club level quite a bit because I don't necessarily like what bass clubs bring with them.
I definitely understand that. I'm gonna pull Nick out of here until I don't know what he's got going on. He went black on us. Yeah, I definitely understand that the club level definitely. I don't know if I have any club folks in here right now that I currently fish with. There's definitely some drama. Definitely some drama.
Yeah, I'm not trying to deal with all of that. And, I like the tournament trail or the league because that takes away some of the nuances. Like I remember I was in the Benning Bass Club and I remember like a full on fight almost broke out because we were voting to switch from Federation, which we all know Federation is dead, but we were voting to switch from Federation to go to Bass Nation. And it was like almost like a brawl of like old men getting ready to just beat each other up over this.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, some of the nuances I don't like, but yeah, no, I definitely have aspirations to continue to fish the BFLs and move on to when I retire to try the opens. But I fished quite a few BFLs down in Alabama and on the co side and a little bit of the boater side as well.
I hear you. It's tough. I don't know how they are down there where you were at, but I know here in South Carolina, I mean, you've got 200 plus boats sometimes. They get pretty hot.
Yeah, I mean, you for sure do. But I always like to. I mean, I kind of have the belief that you're not going to get any better unless you just kind of, force yourself and throw yourself into those situations.
Right. Fly or die kind of situation. Fly or die.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go get my teeth kicked in for a couple of years, but eventually I'll learn.
Exactly.
It's humbling. It's humbling when you fish against some of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think just fishing in general is humbling. I mean, you can, as soon as you start to feel dialed in and you have that one derb where you zero, it's like, oh, dude.
And someone brings in a sack.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, it's just like I'm too competitive. Like, you take this year, for example, my first tournament, I blow my motor up and I win. I would have rather not blown my motor up. And then
Right.
I go like the rest of the year and I can't ever put together a good tournament. I can catch a big fish, but I just can't put together a good tournament, and it feel like you just spiral the entire year after that,
Right. It's definitely tough. I know I had a year like it started off pretty good, first couple of derbs of the season, and then I zeroed back-to-back tournaments, and one of them was a 2-day on Santee. I don't know how. Like, I just had nothing going on. I should like to. I mean, I am with Lonnie as my partner in the club. Yeah, I mean, it's nice making money, but I don't know. There's some drama Lonnie knows the backstory on that is what it is. They're all mad at us because I had live scope on my boat, even though me and Lonnie are leading the points mostly out of his boat without live scope. And they said they don't want to donate to the live scope anymore.
Don't get that going.
Forward facing sonar is a hot top. I have one on my boat, man. I can't.
I can't even use it. Yeah, I can't even use it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with it. I'm mostly catching catfish with it anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not. I mean, I don't know if I hate it because it broke and I have to replace the transducer, or if I hate it because what Randy Blockett says or whatever.
Oh, Randy Blockett. That's funny. So we kind of hit your style of fishing. That was one thing I wanted to go over. You're kind of, like you said, like versatile between the power fishing and a little bit of finesse, right? Or would you qualify yourself as a power fisherman?
If I have a preference, man, I'm gonna rip a crankbait all day long. Right.
All day.
If I can find a crankbait bite, that is what I'm going to do all day. Down here, I don't think I weighed in a single fish off of a crankbait this last tournament season though. So
wow.
I will switch But like finesse, like I like throwing like big shaky heads and stuff like that if I have to. But yeah, if I were to classify myself as anything, it is a power fisher through and through.
Gotcha.
What do you like better? Do you like the stained water down south, or do you like the deep clear stuff?
See, I don't really know because it's hard because I haven't lived in New York for so long. I want to say like I would love the New York fishing, but if I were to guess, like I think that it is easier to catch fish in stained water than it is the clear water.
I can probably concur with that. I mean, I've never fished the up north clear. But I mean, I've fished 10 foot of visibility plenty of times, and I feel the same way. You definitely. The stained is easier.
Especially smallmouth. They spook so easy. Like
Right.
and they'll see you coming in that deep clear water.
Right.
Well, I mean, because I'm a believer, a lot of times it's like if I'm pitching a big shaky head under a dock and say I land a big fish at like probably 1 p.m, it's probably not out of him wanting to eat. It's probably a reaction bite, and it landed in front of his face, or it made him mad, or something.
Yeah.
For sure. So if you had a lake, we didn't. I don't know if we asked this to Dave, but I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna put you on the spot here. If you had a lake in the country, conditions whole nine, like the dream tournament, lay it out for us.
Like, Lake Eufaula, Alabama, through and through.
Yeah, but like windy. Do you want it cold? What time of year? How are the fish setting up? Pre-spawn, post-spawn?
I'm a big fall fisherman. I think that fall in the South is the best time of year to fish. It's not hot, it's not cold, and they're eating before they get ready to go. And I can rip crankbaits across rocks all day long. I do find I really don't have a huge preference. I actually I like fishing in the spawn. I like catching the fish in the spawn, but I hate the spawn because you spend so much time trying to figure out when the spawn is.
Yeah.
But I would say either right before pre-spawn or the fall. The fall is my favorite time ever to fish because they eat so much.
Oh yeah.
They're aggressive. You're catching big sacks. The springtime is great, but
And that's when that crankbait really plays a factor. I know here in the South, I think that's sarcasm, Nick.
Is
that
it?
we put up there? That's our next open. I don't know. Maybe Gage is trying to tell me something. He's gonna whip my butt next weekend. But Bayou Chicot, where's that? That's on y'all's list this year?
Josh says that because that's out of all the lake. For some reason, out of all the lakes on our schedule, that's the one that I always manage to do the best on. Like I don't know why. It's something about that lake. It makes sense to me, and I can break it down fairly easily.
Got you.
What's the one? What's it? Cato or Cato? How do you say it?
Cato.
I saw some videos of that place. It looks like you're going through the Amazon.
So yeah, it's not actually. I think Toledo Bend was probably worse than it. It's so Cato was a very tough lake to figure out for me because everything looked the same. So you got the boat lane that is 7 feet, and then everything outside of the boat lane is cypress trees, and it's about 4 foot of water. So they're like, and that's everywhere on the lake. It's like I don't know what made the cypress trees I caught fish on better than the other ones, but they did. So I thought Cato was a tough lake to break down. And then aside from that, you had a slot that you had to contend with. So that made it even more difficult. So Cato's an interesting lake for sure. That's one I'd like to get back.
You guys have some weird slots down there too, right? Like it's like you have to be under.
Yeah, I can't remember what the slot is off the top of my head. I think it's like 13. It's either 13 to 16 or 13 to 18. You can't keep. You got to throw back, and you can catch anything like under it. You can keep or something like that, and then over you can keep. I don't remember like completely what the slot is off the top of my head. But that one takes some like explaining in the rules before you go out there, because otherwise, like you get caught with one that you're supposed to throw back a slot fish, you're getting a ticket from the game warden.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So, yeah, it was a tough lake. That is one tournament I would like to get back because I feel like I lost that tournament because I caught a 5 and I didn't fish the slot, and I should have gone and caught unders after I had the 5, and I would have won.
So you were just targeting the bigger fish, but if you had a limit
Yeah.
of it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one
great.
I'd like to get back.
That's that's a different realm I never really thought about. I've never really fished tournaments in a slot level, like where you have to deal with the slot. I never really thought about, having to consider what you're targeting. Heck, here on Santee, I'm just grinding. I don't care. I just want 5 bites. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, yeah, me and my partner Josh, we probably threw back like 7 or 8, 3.5 pound bass all day.
And you can't keep them.
Can't keep them. Had to throw them back immediately.
That hurts.
Yeah. That'd be frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, you live and learn, right? So that's one of
Right.
the ones that I wish I could have back, but now I understand it, because when I showed up and I got beat by dudes, and all the power to them, they knew how to fish the slot. I had a 5, but they caught unders and beat me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
you said Eufaula is your favorite lake. Why do you pick that out of any other lake in the entire country?
the fish is like a Florida lake, right? So you have everything there. If you want to go punch, you can go punch and catch big fish. If you want to throw crankbaits across the riprap all day, you can throw crankbaits across the riprap. If you want to like tuck up and back into some like marshland and throw a topwater frog all day, you can do that, and you just catch big fish. Big fish. Like, you are not even in contention on Eufaula unless you have a 25 to 28 pound bag.
Crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it is the most fun. It is the most fun lake I've ever fished. I love it. I spent almost every weekend out there when I lived in Georgia.
That'd be a good one for a national sometime too.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
centrally located for everybody.
I would love that.
There's no pre-fishing for you though.
I'll
Yeah.
probably go get absolutely creamed, right?
Yeah, that's how it goes. The one you really want, and
Yeah.
you stink it up real bad. Yep.
What town is that in? Is it Eufaula?
Yeah, I think Eufaula, Alabama
yeah,
is the town.
It's in Eufaula. I forget what town the boat ramp is in, but it's just right outside of Eufaula. It's right next to Fort Benning.
So it's a 19-hour car ride.
For y'all up there in New Hampshire. Goodness.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not.
Gunnersville, that's another good one.
Gunnersville, yeah. For sure. I like this idea as well from Forey's Glory Outdoors. I know we've been talking about this, talked with this with a few people, of like trying to do not necessarily the national championship, but just like picking a place that everybody can meet up and just fun fish,
Yeah.
and enjoy the brotherhood without the stress of a tournament. Would be a lot of fun.
Someone's gonna say, "Let's run a little tournament here."
Side pot,
Oh,
yeah. Oh
This-
yeah, the side pot's gonna start with 20, and then it's gonna be 50, and then it's gonna be 100, and 100%. But it would still be fun. It would still be fun. There's nothing else on the line. I mean, I'm not against. I think we're all gamblers here, every one of us.
Yeah.
We all have a problem, or we wouldn't be here. But I mean, I don't have problems. $20, like a big fish side pot. I wouldn't be upset with that if we were doing something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Lake Lanier's that way. 22.
I see Philip talking about Lake Lanier, and I'm jealous of him because that area, like Georgia and Alabama, has the best lakes in the country. Like, there's a reason why all the pros go and live there.
Yeah, you got the whole Savannah chain right there. Lake Lanier, Oconee's really good. There's a lot right there. And it's all easy access. That's what I like about it. And then even, I think the Savannah River, like the actual river down towards Savannah after Clark's Hill, I know some folks down there that talk about how, probably shouldn't say it, but how it doesn't get what it deserves. There's a lot of really big grown fish there and good tournaments that run out of Savannah, Georgia. But little less known, kind of like the Chowan River deal out there in North Carolina this year. Maybe the locals don't want it known. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Might have somebody headhunting for me after that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
there's a
you'd pick Georgia lakes over New York any day?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so it's different though. Like I can fish the Alabama lakes in December when the fishing's really good, right? So I don't know, man. Like I have that nostalgia of Lake Champlain and Hudson River and all the Erie Canalways and everything like that. So like if I ever got an opportunity to go fish up north for a tournament again, I would absolutely like everybody like has like the fantasy of like fishing walking across the classic stage. Like I have like the fantasy of walking across the stage at Champlain. Like
Yeah.
because one, we don't see that many people from New York and or New Hampshire in the Elite Series. Like growing up, I had to follow Mike Iaconelli, or I think who we got now, Patrick Walters, right? He is it him or no?
he's from South Carolina.
Who's the kid? There's another one. I forget his name. Like another kid from upstate New York that's in the Elite Series right now. But there's
Yeah.
not like we're few and far between.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tim, you got Tim Dubé, however you say his name. He's your New Hampshire guy.
Yeah, and then Tyler Williams, he's from Maine, so they're like the first two. I'm pretty sure they're the first two in both of those states to make it to the elites.
Yeah, ironically, y'all probably connect more fishing wise with the Canadians than anything.
Oh yeah,
up there for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Those dudes are
But
sticks. It's crazy how they can go down south and just whack them. Like it's nuts.
wild. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, all of them too. All the Canadian guys so far have just dominated. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
it. I love New York though. That's why I had to ask you. I mean, to be able to pull 25 plus pounds of smallmouth out of a body of water is.
I mean, yeah, like don't get me wrong, like everything I owe to like how I do well in tournaments and everything is from learning how to fish in New York, right? Like, because even if you look at my style, like the way I throw crankbaits, the way I throw shaky heads, the way I throw anything is from learning how to fish in Lake Champlain or learning how to fish for northern pike, believe it or not, in the Hudson River, things like that. So I owe pretty much everything to learning how to like getting good at fishing to up there, but I've spent so much time in the South. Sometimes I'm curious, like how much of a northern angler am I actually anymore?
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I've been down here since I was 20, and I'm 34 now. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you've probably evolved.
It is. It's
yeah,
Kyle Patrick. That's who you're talking
that's
about.
who it is. Yeah, I listened to
Lonnie
him
hit
on
it.
Zaldane.
Yep. I've been looking at their anglers trying to figure out. I knew there was one too. I couldn't put the name on it. Jay Currett. I just looked this up. Josh Morgan. I don't know. I didn't know before, but he's from Wisconsin. That's starting to be a new trend. You're seeing a lot. Like I'm looking through here. You have Kyle Norsetter from Wisconsin, Chad Pipkins, Michigan. He's been around for a while. But you're starting to see a lot more of the, Jay Currits, the Alex Redwine from Ohio. Uh, who else? You got Pat Slapper from Wisconsin, Brian Schmidt from Maryland. Like a lot of the Southern boys are starting to get beat out by the Northern boys. It's starting to even itself out, I guess.
I
And back
think
in the day, everybody was from Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina. You know what I
I
mean?
could be wrong, but I think that up north we use electronics a lot more because of the water that we fish. I could be wrong because I haven't spent a lot of time in the South fishing, but yeah, right there. Yeah, forward facing sonar. I mean, that's up here. It's a staple, honestly. Like,
Right.
I mean, maybe, right? Like, I'm not the biggest. I have a four-face sonar on my boat, so full disclosure there. But like, I'm not the biggest fan of it anymore, or really. But like, you can't Ike never had one. Fighter never had one.
For sure.
A lot of these dudes who came on the scene, and then even like, what's his name, Kyle Patrick. Like, yeah, he had a forward-facing sonar, but not when he won Angler of the Year in the Opens in 18. So
Right.
things like that. So
Yeah, a lot
maybe.
of these that I named off. Well, Kyle Patrick's the rookie this year, but the
Yeah.
rest of
So
them were all older. Um, within the last 5 years. So realistically, it wasn't until last year that FFS really took off. Um, so I think I'm with Nick probably. It's not necessarily the forward facing sonar, but the ability to use side imaging. Like you always see those guys up there, graphing grass and all that. And I think the 360 and stuff like that. That's a huge thing up in the Wisconsin guys realm. Like they really dial that stuff in to target fish, stumps and rock points and stuff underwater that a southern guy, no offense to us southern guys, but a lot of us just pick up a spinnerbait, a crankbait, a buzzbait, whatever it is, and run down the bank. We're not looking for those little, that little outcropping coming out that a guy like Nick might side imaging down that bank instead of run down it with a spinnerbait, and he'll see that little outcropping. There can be 10 fish sitting there. I might catch a 2-pounder, but Nick might catch a 3.5, 4-pounder right there off that little outcropping. Those fish sitting down off the deeper end. So maybe that is it.
Not
I
this
don't
year.
know. I hear you. I hear you. I don't have the patience to side image that long. I do it, but not good.
Yeah,
Not good at it.
yeah. Some of those pros too, like I told you, like when I was talking to Trey McKinney up there, he said he was just out there graphing for 3 full days. Just picked an island and just went around it for 3 days graphing.
Nope.
That's
Mm-mm.
I told I was like, I don't know how you do it. I have to pick up a rod at some point. Like I can't sit there and graph. But I mean, that's why he's Trey McKinney and
Exactly. Yeah, I understand. Yep. Same. Yeah, I can't do it. I get so bored. I do it. I'll make 3 or 4 passes down a ledge. Like I was trying to figure out some ledge stuff. I won't name the lake. And I did figure out a couple things, but it was like make 3 or 4 passes, see a couple fish sitting stacked up off the ledge, a couple stumps there, drop waypoints, turn around, and I'm fishing for them. Should be just okay. Those are fish. I know I can come back and catch them, but I should just be going down the ledge and finding more hard spots or whatever. But it is what it is.
So you're getting ready to do some opens too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're looking at. So we were going to do one this week, but there's a local tackle store owner that is getting ready to join our league, and he kind of has his little deal, his tackle box tournament series that he does, and I don't want to step on his tournament, so we're just going to push it to the right a week, maybe 2, and we're going to get that going. We're trying to get some opens. I mean, working on getting some opens in the northern part of the state. I've been talking to a couple guys up there, see if we can get that going. We're really just trying to build the league a little bit more. I know I discussed my love affair with New York because that's where I'm from, but Louisiana is where I plan to retire. I love this state, and the fishing in this state is awesome. Like I get to put my bass boat inside of a bayou and go pitch cypress trees all day and, catch fish. So that's pretty awesome. So I think that we're growing. I think that we're trending in the right direction. It's just I think we're working on getting the word out there a little bit more. One unique problem that I run into is we're competing with solely fishing clubs that are on Toledo Bend or on Sam Rayburn. So trying to get people who don't want to just fish Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn is kind of a challenge sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing here too. You see a lot of guys that only know Santee Cooper and they won't leave it. Same with Lake Murray. Like they dedicate to a lake and they don't want to travel around and do the other things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's I don't know how you appeal to those folks, like dudes that have like we've got some guys, one guy told me he's never even been on a lake that's 45 minutes away. He's lived here his entire life, never been 45 minutes to a different lake. Spent his whole life on one lake. That's kind of crazy to me, but I mean, he's good. You know what I mean? Like he's a hammer on that lake and that's what he does. So is what it is. And that's a tough one. fight, to battle, to try to get them to commit.
Yeah, I don't know that you ever really do, right? Like
Right.
I think I think it's like trying to find the people who have tournament aspirations. Really, granted, like AFFL isn't like some of the other tournament leagues that I've been in, where it's just solely competitive, like we were talking about, where like you get onto the lake and you go out to the no wake zone and you sit there by yourself and you rig tackle and you look at your graph. That's not really quite like what it is. People will sit and talk at the ramp, and I've I, tell some embellished stories a little bit, but that's what we do. But
Right.
so it's not quite that competitive, but I mean, there still is tournament aspirations there. Like all Louisiana's been talking about is how they want somebody from Louisiana to win the national championship. So that's pretty cool. I think it's just trying to appeal to those dudes who do have those tournament aspirations.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that's what's going to separate us in the future too, is people come out and see, is it's exactly what you said, like that brotherhood aspect we talk about is happening. Like, I know you and I talked a little offline about exactly what you said. Putting our boats in the water, going out to the no wake zone. You might have 2 or 3 boats kind of tied up, talking as a clique, but for the most part, a lot of people are sitting at the weigh-in, sitting at the in the parking lot, BSing and hanging out first thing in the morning, instead of going out there and doing that thing, or sitting off in the back of the parking lot rigging tackle. Everybody's hanging out, and I think that'll help us grow too, as people come to these events. Their first one, get the taste, see the brotherhood isn't just a hashtag we're putting on our posts, seeing that it's happening. I think that'll help a lot.
Yeah, and I think it's just it's going to take a little while to grow. Honestly,
Right.
I think you're going to have some states that are going to grow a little bit quicker than others. I think Louisiana. If I were to estimate conservatively, I'll say I'll probably have about 20 to 30 votes this year. So, and a lot of that's from the guys in the field, though. I got a good core group of dudes who do a lot of recruiting and send them my way. Like Brock down south, I don't ever make it down south towards Lafayette. And Brock's working real hard with the decals on his truck, going around, talking, to different weigh-ins. Or, I got Philip and Paul up in the north end of the state who are, going to Caddo or going to these other lakes, trying to get people from the Air Force Base up there to come down and fish with us. So that helps a little bit too, because I'm not just a one-man show, and it's I have a good core group of dudes that are trying to get it going. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it helps a ton.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do it without my guys either. I mean, we've got some really awesome dudes helping. And I think if we keep that going, we'll just continue to grow, because those dudes will come along too. The ones that aren't helping yet, they'll still come in. Like, we have a small group in each state, and if we already got that many guys going out and willing to help expand, then that'll just keep growing, and it'll just compound on itself.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. I really
So
think.
what do you plan on doing for the opens? Do you know yet? Like the entry fee?
So we're thinking about doing, I think, a $40 entry fee. That's like realistically like something that most people are willing just to like throw out. Like, if I win, great. If I don't, not take it too seriously, but take it seriously enough.
Yeah.
Probably do 90% payback to the anglers, and the other bit of money that we keep, depending on what it is we'll donate it to the league, and we'll try to pay for some of the boarding for nationals for the anglers.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
So it's really a 2-part thing. Like, it's going to help us grow, get us out there, and get us within the community. Because like, I love Louisiana. Louisiana's like, there's no state like Louisiana. They have their own little culture here. It's real cool. Everybody's pretty, really friendly. But you have to come around them quite a bit. You got to come around the people quite a bit in order for them to open up to you, right? So, I think the name of the game is getting out there, and, showing
the Yankee accent, right?
Oh yeah, I get a lot of "you're not from around here" kind of thing. So, but yeah, I got to show them, like, we're going to be here. We're nothing serious. We're not. We just want to have everybody get together and have a good time.
Yeah. Awesome. Have you put a feeler out for the opens yet? Is there interest in them?
There's interest in them. I mean, it's Toledo Bend, right? So
yeah,
really, quite honestly, any any tournament will get some interest on Toledo Bend, right? As long as I have the right entry fee and the right time, it's going to gain interest.
Yeah.
'Cause it's Toledo. The name alone sells it at the lake. So
I feel like that happens in every state. Like every state has their lakes where if that lake is on your schedule, you'll get people to fish it.
Right.
Yeah, it's Toledo Bend. So there's always people fishing Toledo Bend.
Right.
But I'm looking at doing kind of like what Austin does because I don't want to do night tournaments. So what I'm looking at doing is like maybe launch a little bit early, make it a trailer event, and then we weigh in about noon because it's ungodly hot about after 11 o'clock here.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yesterday we had some nice wind and overcast in the morning. They kept it cool, but the week prior, like coming up to it, it's been brutal. I mean, 11 o'clock, like you said, like you just want to die. It's so hot out there in the sun and the humidity.
You guys get that killer humidity down there.
Yes. Well, I've never been to Louisiana, but I know some guys that were at Barksdale for a long time, and they're like, "Man, you think it sucks here? Don't go there." So.
Yeah, it's hotter than South Georgia, which I didn't think was possible. So
right. Yeah, and I mean, so far, I mean, that's our winner from our yesterday open. I mean, I still like can't get over it. I never even did the math in my head, but I mean, we had 17 boats, $80 entry fee, $915 to walk away, and that paid 4 places. I'm pretty happy with that payout. I know Mr. Ronnie Mueller was yesterday as well. A lot of people seem pretty happy with that, so we'll keep that moving in South Carolina.
Yeah, and then with the payouts changing for next year too, I mean,
it's going to grow in the qualifier level. Yeah, going to 100% for sure. Yeah, I mean that 915. I think if we did 120, 100, it would have been. I'm not going to do the math in my head. My Kentucky education doesn't work that good. But it would have been well over $1,000 for sure. It's hotter than Africa in South Carolina. I don't know if I can agree with that, Lonnie. I don't know if I can agree with that. Africa's hot.
So, is there anything else you want to mention with the with Louisiana? Did we miss anything?
No, I think we pretty much hit it all. I think we're getting ready. I have a lot of irons in the fire right now, right? We're talking to a lot of different local bait stores, and we're talking. You know, we have a lot of people reaching out to me. We're really just kind of waiting for it to execute. I have the schedule for 2025, you know, already posted. The biggest problem is like our season starts so early and ends so early in relation to the rest of the league, right? So, it's really just trying to figure out a way to keep people engaged until our schedule starts. You know, that's the challenge that I'm trying to figure out right now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a lot better in 3 weeks when I have a little bit more time on my hands. But right now, that's the big thing is how do we keep people engaged? And I've been kind of getting out, beating the streets, fishing dog fights, you know, getting beat up by local boys in dog fights, trying to get the word out there. So, you know, it's been just getting out there and getting it done. And I think once we get the 2025 season started, I think we'll grow a little bit more. So I think that'll be good.
And we're doing more events next year too, which I think will help, you know, fill that void.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because I got 7 events. I think we kick off January 28th on Grand Bayou Reservoir. And I think our second event is in February on, I want to say it's on Cane River. But either way, we're kicking off in the center of the state in the end of January. So it should be good. And it's just seeing if I can get all those verbal commitments to commit. And I hope they do, because I think once we start growing, I think you're just going to see our field absolutely soar, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Philip, I saw Philip's comment here. From what I've heard, Philip, Zach says Georgia is going to be a very, very good state to have on the league.
For sure. Especially that Savannah chain kind of concept he's going to roll off of. I mean, he'll get South Carolina guys for sure that aren't willing to come down to Santee and kind of where Mountain Trail is. you'll get them Hartwell, Savannah Chain dedicated guys to jump over to the Georgia side for his events. I think is how that's
Zach,
going to go down.
you said George is very competitive too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very competitive. Like they will be all trying to go out there and win. It
Right.
is a very competitive state.
Yeah.
I would show up to the ramp and Kyle Welcher and Gerald Swindle would be at the ramp. Like it is a competitive state to fish.
Right.
Like a $20 tournament and Kyle Welcher's putting his boat in the water.
Right.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, here's kind of cool. Like I sometimes I run to like Keith Poche or Caleb Summerall.
Yeah. I don't see it a lot. I see Brian New on Lake Murray every once in a while. Unless there's an event going on, I don't really see anybody. I've seen Davey Hyde out on Santee a couple times randomly, just idling out of packs for whatever reason. But I don't see a lot of folks around here, other than those two.
You don't see any here, so
I used to
Never
run
seen
into
them. Yeah,
Alabama.
Brian New, I mean, he always jumps in the Guardian Classic. Speaking of which, I want to talk about that. I have it in my notes to make sure we talk about that. So real quick, while it's in my brain and I don't forget it, the Guardian Classic, we had For His Glory Outdoors on here 2 weeks ago. I want to do a big call to action here. If you guys are able to go come down here to Lake Murray on August 31st for the Guardian Classic, please get over to Facebook, follow For His Glory Outdoors. He's on Instagram as For His Glory Outdoors too, or if not, go to his website, forhisgloryoutdoors.com, and make sure y'all are getting involved with that. I'm going to have him send me some information. He's doing a raffle for a Glock and an AR to help raise money for the organization. Pretty awesome deal on how he's running it. At $20 a ticket, buy 5, you get a 5th one, or you get a 6th one free for $100. And he was on here earlier. I haven't seen him comment in a while. Him and Gage Spagnolia are the ones running it pretty good. But that's an awesome event. We talked about it. If you didn't see that, go back to episode 2 and watch that. And please get over there and get signed up. We have a lot of veterans signed up, from what I understand. They need boaters bad. So anybody that can afford it to come out here, please get over there and get registered. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail us. I started talking about pros and Brian New came up, and I was like, I need to talk about that real quick because he's been in all of those events and pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
That he takes the time out of his day to go fish something like that and get a vet on the water. I think that's awesome.
It is, yeah.
Heck yeah, Nathan Tyson. That's what I'm talking about. That's one of our regulars here in South Carolina. Just got 3rd yesterday in ours. Did awesome. Yeah, like 12 pounds. I mean, that's awesome. Having 12 pounds on a day like yesterday was pretty impressive.
So they paid down on the St. Lawrence yesterday. They paid down to 13 places, and 13th place was like 22 pounds and change.
That's insane.
Telling you, man, you got to get up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely insane. That's big weights.
That's why I had 13 pounds. I was like, I'm not even showing up to weigh in. I'm throwing it back.
Right.
Yeah.
Man,
I don't have any more questions for Zach. I know you have a long day tomorrow. I don't want to keep you from.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm real excited.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking like one thing that I like to highlight that's interesting about AFFL and total, like, because we talk about how competitive everybody is, right? Like I am by nature a competitive person. I'm going out to win, but AFFL is a little different. Unlike something I've never been in. Like our first tournament, my partner Josh, he's never fished tournaments before, and I told him like, get ready for the boat ramp. Like, there's, people are going to talk, but don't listen to the doc talk. It's none of it's ever true. Right. And so we get there, everybody's sitting around talking, and everybody's there. I ain't never been out there before. But then you'll hear somebody pipe out. I've never been out there before, but watch out, about 130 yards out there, there's a stump sticking out of the water. You don't want to hit that. Like, just giving these fine details to the lake. But I thought that was funny because you do have you're bringing back some things that I think we've lost within fishing with the competitiveness. People are getting together and they're talking. You get the embellished stories and the funny moments and things like that. That I think we've really lost in a lot of like the BFLs. That's not happening. You know,
Yeah.
the bass clubs. That's not really happening. Things like that. So I think one thing AFFL is doing is they're bringing us back. It's bringing back the things that we all like about fishing, right? My favorite parts are probably the weigh-ins most of the time, or you know, the talking at the dock in the morning, you know, things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think some of my favorite moments so far at the AFFL have been the morning of waiting to blast off, and then in the afternoons after the weigh-in, and the guys that hang out and stay afterwards. And we sat there like me, Bobby Edwards, and John Lanier, Jared Branch. We sat in John Lanier's Skeeter for like 2 hours after the tournament one day, just sitting there BSing, talking fishing, life, some of the drama with the FFS stuff and the rookies going on the Bassmasters, like just having a good time, you know, like you're talking about, bringing back that old school stuff and connecting.
The fun side of it.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. You go to a lot of the tournaments around here, it's like most guys aren't even going to weigh their fit. They're walking up saying, you know, there's 11 pounds is the last paying place. I've got 8. I'm just not even going to dump them and then take off and not even stay to see what goes on. Yeah, Mr. Sheehan for sure. Like that's the best part. All the fun stuff. Telling people you're catching them on an Alabama rig when you're catching them on a shaky head and like, stuff like that. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that.
I would 100% do that, but
yeah, yeah, dude, they're biting the big 3.5 square bills.
Yeah.
They'd been murdering them on the XD, the 10XD.
Yeah.
But that's really all I got. You know, not to beat a dead horse. Thank you guys for having me on. Thanks, Nick, for starting up AFFL. So we have a league for us all to fish, and anybody interested in Louisiana, I post my cell phone number pretty. Good thing about the Army is everybody has it anyway. So I post my cell phone number pretty openly. So if anybody ever wants to reach out to me, call me. And I will answer any questions. Hopefully, we can get Louisiana built up, and we have a league for the future.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes, thanks for all your hard work, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for all your hard work and keeping it moving down there, man. For real, it's we talked about it with Dave. Same for you. We can't do it without you, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you.
All right. See you later.
Later.
I always forget he's an hour behind, so it's probably dinner time for him.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That didn't cross my mind either. I'm thinking it's same time over there. Y'all, that was Zack Myott, the Louisiana director. He's been really awesome for us and really keeping the state moving and getting a lot of guys signed up, and haven't heard anything but positive things out of him. I mean, he's been awesome so far.
Sure. Yeah, he monitors that. So if anybody does have questions or wants to reach out to him, he monitors the page very closely. And like he said, his phone number is all over the place. So
right, for sure. If y'all have any questions, get with him. He's always quick to return my text or message and everything. And awesome dude.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's I'm gonna do one thing real quick before we get to our sponsors.
The giveaway?
Just like, well, I'm gonna do it right after, but just give everybody one more chance. Hashtag #DSITREP. Make sure you like, sharing, and commenting. And as soon as we're done, talking about our sponsors real quick, we'll go ahead and get that done.
What do we have? What do we have lined up for next week?
For next week. Next week, I have been talking with Andrew Blair from Tactical Fishing Company. So he is going to come on and talk about, Tactical Fishing Company, his time in the Army, and we're going to talk a little bit about, his move down from Maryland to South Carolina. He ain't playing no games. He doesn't have snakehead down here, but he's figured out the mudfish already. From what I can tell on Facebook, he's whacking them pretty good. Yeah. He's some good ones too. I mean, it seems like he's getting a hold of some good ones, and there's no shortage of them down here. So I'm glad he's already figuring that out. But yeah, so make sure y'all go ahead and do the hashtag #TheSitRep, like, share, and comment. And like we were just talking about, tactical fishing. I mean, he's one of our Army veterans, and I don't know about his partner, his business partner. I don't know if he's military or not. I think they are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said they were.
Yeah, we'll have to pick their brain next week on that and get in touch with him. And then coming up on the following week, not 100% yet, but what I'm trying to work out is Mr. Jamie Murphy from Southern Fusion Barbecue, Hank Parker, Southern Fusion Barbecue, kind of tell his story and what he's got going on with Proactive Parenting Initiative and how he's, has Southern Fusion tied in with that to help sponsor that nonprofit ministry he's got going on there. But big thanks, once again, to Crazy Hick, Baitco, Strike King, Lose, and Yellow Tech helping us out. It definitely makes a difference, getting us some product and just helping share our stuff like we've talked about before. That alone is a huge help when we're this small.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to mention on them, Nick?
No, you hit it. Yeah.
Good.
Just appreciate everything they do for us.
Absolutely. I mean, we couldn't do it without them. They've been really good to us so far, and hopefully we continue to go down that route with them. Let me get the giveaway.
The brain fog from fishing for a week.
I hear you, man. I'm surprised you came on tonight. I know you're beat.
I'm just getting rattled around on the boat.
Right, for sure. I clicked the wrong one there. So yeah, we got 20 entries tonight for the giveaway.
Who won last week?
So Danny Melinder, I still got to mail his out. So that's something I want to talk about. I forgot about. I'm gonna start setting it to where you can only win once a month. So like Danny, I'm gonna mail yours out if you're watching tonight or tomorrow with this package. I just had such a crazy week. I wasn't able to make it to the post office. But like Melissa won the last week of June. So she's eligible now. So from the first episode of the month to the last episode of the month, if you win, I'm gonna write you down. That way I know you already won that month. Just to make it fair. And we're not, and if this thing shows that it just wants to go back-to-back weeks with the same people, we can, make it a little fair for other people.
Yeah.
And get everybody some merch. I want everybody rocking the merch. Let's see who we got here today. Troy Stinson. Copy that. Mr. Stinson, please send a message to either Armed Forces Fishing's main page or AFFL-South Carolina, or send me an email at AFFL.South Carolina@gmail.com, and we will get you squared away with that. So thank y'all for playing. Thank everybody for playing. I don't have a lot more else to talk about besides, thank you everyone that's tuned in. Thanks for all the hard work. I want to give a shout out to our anglers for sure, Nick.
Oh yeah.
Seeing all the people that have gone out and, do their things to bring people to us, kind of like what Zach was talking about tonight. I'm so appreciative of it.
Yeah, we could not have a league if people weren't talking about it.
And
the fact that I love the fact that people are talking about it, because it means that they're enjoying it.
Right. Exactly.
That's the best part of it.
Right. But yeah, I'm thankful for all them guys. Thankful for Zach's hard work, just like all the directors, doing the we're all working together. The directors, the anglers, you, me, Dave, all of us, we're working, and I'm so appreciative of everybody, man.
For sure. And I apologize to everybody that tried to reach out while I was gone. I was gone for this whole week.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play catch up tomorrow. So if I didn't get back to you or we talked about something, please just send me a reminder. Like I said, I have that brain fog for a couple days. But again, I apologize for not getting back to everybody right away.
Yes, sir. It's been a busy week. It's been a busy week for you and me too. It's been
Yeah.
tough. But y'all, I think that's about all we have. Make sure y'all tune in next week for Andrew Blair from Tactical Fishing Company, and we'll get his story out there and show y'all. I kind of want to sneak a couple of sneaky things in there and show some of the baits and talk
Yeah.
fishing with him. For
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. Yeah.
Talk fishing. But so make sure y'all tune in next week, Sunday at 7, just like we have every time. I'm not going to screw it up this time. It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood. Y'all have a good one.